Okay, this is Andy Graham, and I have sort of weird news, bad news. I don't know what you want to call it. I possibly had an infarction, a heart attack in the past. And I'd almost bet it was the week right after I had my second shot of Pfizer, uh, almost 3 years ago. I went to the doctor about a year ago, and I tried to explain I had a heart pain. And it's progressively over time, it's gone less. But what happened was I'm getting my knees replaced. Both of my knees is called a bilateral knee replacement, and they really don't replace the joint. It's kind of they replace the end of the thing. They make a kind of a steel thing on one, a titanium thing on one end, and kind of a plastic thing on the other end, and they rub each other. Everybody that has their knees replaced seems to be very happy, although the pain seems to be bad. I was scheduled here for very shortly, and they've delayed that. And so a lot of you want to know when I'm leaving for Israel. And I was planning on the 1st of October, and that's still possible, according to how well I do. But this infarction, they call it, was pretty bad. I got a stress test where they took chemicals, and they raised my heart or my blood pressure up to a different level. And they made my heart do something, and they put me on like a live EKG machine, an electrical cardiogram machine, whatever. EKG, I guess it is. It reads the electrical system of the heart, and the beats and the waves and the ups and down beats and the time delays and all stuff. I had this because the first one I got was there was some burp in it, some delay in a thing, but the stress test came back abnormal, and it was a nuclear thing. They put nuclear stuff in my heart, and then they took images before and after, and it's really huge machine, really cool machine. But they called it an abnormal nuclear study with intermediate risk. So I guess that'd be a medium. Abnormal perfusion study. Perfusion defect. There is a large size defect with severe reduction. So something's going on with my heart. In uptake present in mild distal and apical anterior and anterolateral. And apex wall, there is non-reversible. The defect appears to be an infarction. So they got this word for heart attack called an infarction. Reveals anakinesis, and the apex is severely hypokinetic. Okay, they got a whole bunch of stuff here. Study quality, overall image quality is adequate. Okay, so they got apex wall. There is a non-reversible. The defects appears to be an infarction. So then they sent me immediately the next day. I had to go down and get a echo. You know how you show those babies, and they show like the baby in the mother's womb or whatever. They got this thing where they get the live video or whatever. They did that to my heart. It's called an echocardiogram, and the study on that came back pretty good. It was just a little bit of like a half a centimeter dilation in thing, and then there's maybe some question apart, but I don't understand any of this. I do know that I was driving down the road. See, they called me up and said, we were very lucky, we can get you in today. If you leave, it's at 12:15, so I had to drive 50 miles. And I called up then while I was driving, they called up to arrange for the cardio to talk with the doctor in August. Okay, so what happened was I talked to the scheduling person. I said, you don't have any clue what the problem is, I said. And she called the doctor. They called back and said, very kind of bluntly, you had a heart attack. And I go, hey, I said, I think you should be a little slow on the to tell somebody that you had a heart attack when you're driving down the road, I was like going, when? And of course, they don't seem to know anything, and they're very closed-mouthed about it, but she was polite enough to tell me that I had a heart attack. Okay, but who knows if I had a heart attack? When I got to the echocardiogram, the lady came in and says, possible heart attack. Okay. So I have no clue what's going on other than they canceled my double knee replacement and they delayed it. The good part is they're going very, very fast. And I'm going to talk with a cardio doctor, a heart doctor, and he will give me the sign off on whether I can do it. Now, I think this is like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't know. Whatever happened, I had a burp in my heart and a heart attack. A heart attack, I think, is just like I'm not going to go into detail on that. But the point is this, I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't do anything. I guess I just rock and rolled with it, right? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm sure everybody could get all upset with this. I called all my family members and told everybody tried to tell them what was going on, and they were grateful that it was a great thing that I went in to get my knees replaced because they discovered this problem with my heart. Now, sad part is I went to a doctor almost 2 years ago, specifically with addressing that problem, and they didn't do anything, right? They just kind of blah, blah, blah. She got kind of angry at me when she asked, what do you take for your pain and all that stuff? I said, I take turmeric and ginger and garlic and, hibiscus tea. And that instantly upset that doctor, okay? And I haven't been able to take any of my normal supplements here for about 8 to 10 days, and my blood pressure's increased. Now I seem to be in the correct range, not in the lower range, but the higher range, a little bit. But everything seems to be good, and I do like taking my supplements, and I have a whole regime of stuff. But they also say that some of it's possible the magnesium and the vitamin D could cause problems. These are electrical. See, the electrical supplements are potassium, calcium, magnesium, and salt. Okay, so those four things work together to create electricity in your body. And one of the reasons why it's very good to take these things is because you want your electrical system to be good. So, that's like that shocking thing, right? Where they shock your heart to get it back. The body's electrical, full of electrical chemical synapses. Okay, so I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm still planning on going to Israel. I don't think this is going to slow me down at all, really. I'm thinking that the Israeli to go there to be like a journalist inside the country is my desire, and to have people. Anybody that's a Patreon member, we have some chat things that are open for the minimum is $5 to be a Patreon monthly fee, and they just automatically take it out. But there's different, $5, $25. I don't know. We got different prices, but we have some chats going on keto, eating keto, the Israeli thing, and different ones that tell you where I'm living and how I'm living, because I'm not really disclosing where I live anymore. Because I think you guys on Reddit and all you trolls ought to be very happy. I could have died, okay? Seems to be the goal of the trolls is to drive people crazy. They're kind of evil, right? I mean, trolls and anybody that inflames anybody, and the world's become very evil, okay? And I'm kind of concerned because I don't know if there's any solution. It seems to be growing. And the body language of people is absolutely atrocious. I mean, if you read body language, you ought to study body language, because body language tells you the actual person. Is how they act is more important than what they say. Okay, and when they're wearing these black shirts with skulls on them and tattoos all over their body and purple hair and stuff, this is a pretty bad this is body language that is not friendly, okay? And then they got a look on their face that's like, oh my gosh. But I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm in Indiana, one of the paradise states in the world, one of the nicest places on the planet, other than it does have winter, okay? But I was talking about building a tiny house, and I decided that I will not. If I'm going to ever build a tiny house, it will not be beyond 500 square feet, and they're going to be completely off the grid. Well, they won't be off the grid, but you'll be able to turn them on and off, and you could go off the grid if you wanted to. And I'll be outside the city and with sewers and stuff, with septic systems, not a public sewer, because I want to put them in woods where it's scenic and nice and beautiful. And we got tons of woods in Indiana, but it needs to be, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles from a city. And I have learned that a 10,000 people city is about the proper size for a city, with maybe a 50 to 100 mile trip to the major big cities where you can do different things. So 10,000 people cities are nice. But I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I'm trying to camp, and I'm doing some different things. I'm trying to prepare to whether or not I can also go live every man's law or whatever it is. You can go camping for free in all the free spaces in like Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. So it'd be really nice to like walk across these countries and go camping, but I have to be able to charge up my electrical stuff within like 2 hours at like a restaurant or something like that. Okay, become a Patreon, and you can follow along, and that gives you the ability to write me emails and communicate through the Patreon system. It's a very good system. I have in any of the descriptions, there's a link plus a link to my GoFundMe page. Everything's looking good, other than I had a heart attack. I don't know what that means. I do know that I've got to get very serious here on my health. If I want to live to be 120, I got to be in peak. I got to pay attention. I got to really be intermittent fasting, and I've got to eat kind of a high protein vegetable seeds and nuts diet. I eat a lot of vegetables raw. I eat most of my vegetables raw. I actually had a can of string beans here last night. It was kind of fun. That's the first one I had in a long time. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Heart attack. Possible heart attack. I will find out here in the next about 8 days what the situation is from the doctor, and I'll update you. But back to the game. Life's a game, right? Life's an experiment, and we should really smell the roses and do our best. How we do anything is how we do everything. We really got to be the best of example to our friends and family and the people of the world. Once in a while, I really wish you would think, are you being a good example to the people around you? Are you really being the best person? Are you really being friendly, nice? Are you saying hello to people? Are you being a good example? I know a lot of Christians that are not, in my opinion, very Christian acting. They don't see that it's their responsibility to be of goodwill in a way. I don't really understand it. Go to church every Sunday and unfriendly to everybody the rest of the week. This is a problem on the planet. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become a Patreon and you find out more. Thank you.